Welcome to German local news. Headlines. 1. Germany to return to pre-Nazi era alphabet tables. 2. Unresolved mysteries in Germany. My name is Lucy. The news in details. After the Nazi power took power prior to World War II, they instituted a number of changes aimed at manipulating the German populace into following their ideology. One such change was the removal of Jewish names from alphabet tables. Now, Germany is set to return back the pre-Nazi alphabet tables for the first time. German alphabet tables. Alphabet tables are a method of helping children to learn the alphabet, as well as how to spell. Prior to the Second World War, German alphabet tables used names, A for Anton and B for Berta. In 1934, the Nazis removed all names with Jewish associations, so D for David became D for Dora, and N for Nathan became N for North Pole. Other names that were removed include Jacob, Samuel and Zacharias. Now, the old version of the alphabet table, known as the Weimar version, is set to return from autumn 2021 after the Anti-Semitism Commissioner for the state of Baden-Württemberg, Michael Blume, started a campaign calling for a temporary return to the old alphabet table. He wrote a letter to the German Institute for Standardisation (DIN), which decided to make the switch back to the Weimar version. New alphabet tables for 2022. An entirely new alphabet table for Germany is currently being created, using mostly the names of cities, and is expected to be introduced in Germany from autumn 2021. My concern is that the Nazis table should not simply be continued, said Blume. It is a nice gesture for the year in which we celebrate 1,700 years of Jewish life in Germany to make it clear what the table originally looked like. A series of commemorative events are planned in Germany for 2021, to celebrate the anniversary of a document that serves as the first written proof of a Jewish community in the country. The document dates back to the year 321. Second headline. Unresolved mysteries in Germany. 3 most curious cases. Spooky season is here, and there's no better way to get scary than by digging into unresolved mysteries. Here are 3 of Germany's most fascinating unsolved mysteries to get you through this Halloween. 1. The Hinterkaifeck murders. The Hinterkaifeck murders are Germany's most notorious unsolved murder case. In 1922, a family of 5 and a maid were brutally murdered in the small Bavarian town of Weidhofen. No suspect has ever been apprehended. What makes this case so creepy, aside from the horrible deaths of the victims, is that the assailant most likely stayed in the family home with the bodies for at least 3 days after. Eerily, some days before the murders, a newspaper appeared out of nowhere on the property, and a set of footprints leading to a broken lock on a farm machine room were discovered in the snow outside. Some members of the family also claim to have heard footsteps in the house during the night, though no intruder was ever found. Several days later, all 6 people living on the farm were found viciously murdered. During investigations, the police discovered that the Gruber family was not your typical family. The father, Andreas, and his daughter, Victoria, had been arrested for incest in 1915, and the relationship between the two was said to be abusive after they left prison. Victoria also had 2 children, said to be fathered by a local man named Lorenz Schlittenbauer. Schlittenbauer was listed as one of the murder suspects by Munich Police Department and is alleged to have disclosed intimate details about the crimes, but he maintained his innocence until his death in 1941. Other theories around the murders include murder-suicide, burglary, and the theory that the Grubers were targeted after someone found out about Andreas and Victoria's relationship. Whatever happened on the Hinterkaifeck farm, this creepy case has remained unsolved almost 100 years on. Scary. 2. The death of Ludwig II of Bavaria. Ludwig II was the King of Bavaria from 1864 to 1886. He is well known today as the commissioner of the famous Neuschwanstein Castle, as well as several other stunning German castles, hence why he was also known as the Fairy Tale King. What many people do not know is that King Ludwig II died in mysterious circumstances just outside of his own castle in 1886. The evening before his death, Ludwig II was declared unfit to rule, as part of a plan by ministers to depose him. Dr. Bernhard von Gudden, an experienced psychiatrist, who was part of the panel that declared him unfit to rule, accompanied King Ludwig II for a walk in the area near the castle the following day. The pair returned to the castle, and then left for another longer walk later that evening. Neither of them would return. Searches were carried out, and both men were found next to the nearby Lake Starnberg. Curiously, the king's death was declared a suicide by drowning, an odd conclusion, given that the king was known to be a strong swimmer, and is said to have not had any water in his lungs. Stranger still, Dr. Gutten's body reportedly showed signs of strangulation, and several head injuries, yet Gutten's death was not treated as suspicious. Some witnesses claim to have heard gunshots around the time that Ludwig II and Dr. Gutten were out walking, whereas others even suspect that the king died of natural causes and merely ended up near the lakeside after a heart attack. Murder, suicide, or accident? The jury's out. 3. Nazi gold train. Though actually in Poland, this mystery obviously has strong links to Germany, and is one of many cases left unsolved after 1945. Legend has it that in the last days of World War II, a train carrying gold and treasure was buried in a tunnel in the Ural Mountains of Poland. Rumors began to swirl in 2015, after two men obtained a deathbed confession about a train buried in Poland. It is assumed that the tunnels supposedly built in the Ural Mountains were part of Project Ries, a secret Nazi construction project, building 7 underground structures in the mountain range and the surrounding area. Whether or not a train exists in those tunnels is one question, but whether it is laden with treasure is quite another. The town in Poland where the treasure train is said to be buried has seen its tourism skyrocket, and mining companies and engineers have also jumped on the bandwagon. This begs the question, is the true legend of the train not its treasure, but instead its money-making potential? This puzzle is by no means the first Nazi mystery to cause a stir. There are hundreds of cases left unsolved since the sudden end of the National Socialist regime in Germany, from the disappearance of many formerly high-ranking officials after the war, to the stashing away of the gold taken from victims of the Holocaust. Hidden beneath the horrors of the war there are still many secrets and mysteries still waiting to be uncovered.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel by pressing subscribe button. Click alert bell to get notification when we upload new video.